You're watching Drake Wing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drake Wing Gaming. It's me on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you on Let's Play episode of Repeat, Owen's Path. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right back in, shall we? Alarm chain, we're up, and let's go. I think we're on this one right here. Okay. He seriously passed out. Damn. You think I was the boogeyman or something? Well, you did scare him half to death. Samuel spluttered incredulously. I was the one who got smacked in the face. I'm the real victim here. Despite the massive bruise on Samuel's chin, he chuckled in amusement as he dabbled a cold, wet towel on Owen's unconscious forehead. After our unfortunate collision, Samuel was quick to carry Owen's limp body off the dance floor and laid him across several chairs in the dining area. He sighed and readjusted his crooked eye patch. Years of bodyguard work, fighting in gangs, working as a hitman. You'd figure it'd be harder to kick in the face. What the fuck were you kids doing? I coughed nervously. We were, dancing? Dance? Listen, kid, I may be old, but that sure as hell wasn't dancing. Looked like he was using you for the hammer throw at the Olympics. To be honest, I can't dance. I just wanted to feel a man hold me in his big, strong arms and swing me around like a princess. Samuel barked a laugh and shook his head. Well, at least you're honest. You have a habit of making things more interesting. I didn't expect my reunion with Owen to go like this, or at all, really. His smile faltered for a moment before returning. First to catch him jumping out my window. Now you go and smack me across the face on the dance floor. What disaster should I expect next? I looked up sheepishly from my seat next to Owen's unconscious body. Crying and probably some panic attacks. Owen was really nervous about seeing you again. Samuel did a double take. Him! I should be the nervous one here. Honestly, in hindsight, I wasn't exactly the best caretaker. I kept so many secrets from him. Of course, his mother was the one who swore me to secrecy, but the Loreleis and all this mafia business was a part of his life, no matter how much he wished otherwise. I was the adult in his life, someone he's supposed to trust and rely on. And I lied and told fairy tale stories whenever Owen asked questions. Always laughing off why I kept getting hurt or why people kept breaking into the house. Of course, he got frustrated with us. It's so obvious now. I said such horrible things to him right before he ran away, too. Samuel sighed and sank into his chair, withdrawn haze clouding his one remaining eye. Graham was right. The kid wasn't stupid, and we couldn't play pretend forever. We should have been open and honest with him from the start. But we didn't. Samuel's head hung low in shame. It's no wonder he's why he's scared of me now. I'm not scared of you. A small voice croaked out, anxious and shaky. Oh. Owen stared up at Samuel. Despite his large stature, Owen suddenly looked very small. I'm not scared of you at all, Samuel. He took a deep breath and sat up. You're like a father to me. I grew up trusting you, and I still do. It's just, you've always been there for me, and I ran away. Abandoned you for 7 years without a single word. What you said back then. You were right. I wasn't the only one who lost my family that day. You did too. But I still took all my anger out on you. Owen's eyes bore into the ground. Shame sat heavily on his tense shoulders as he refused to look up. I still love you so much, but how do I come back from this? How can you not hate me after all this? Strong arms suddenly reached out and yanked Owen forward. Owen suddenly found his face pressed tightly into Samuel's big shoulders as he embraced him in a warm, shaking hug. Oh, Owen, I can never hate you. A mixture of a laugh and a teary sniffle escaped from his throat. We're both grieving that day. Both of us said things we regret. But I think stewing on that regret for 7 years is long enough. I love you more than anything in the world. I'm just glad to have you back. There was no reply. Choked sobs poured from Owen's throat as he clung on to Samuel for dear life, tears soaking his shoulder. He buried his face into his shoulder, shaking and weeping. I'm sorry. It's all right, kiddo. I'm here. The two of them held on to each other, slowly riding the years of emotion that was pouring out from their hearts. Amidst all the crying, a warm wave of relief and joy filled their chests as Samuel and Owen slowly realized, despite what little remained, they were finally reunited with their family. Eventually, tears were dried and replaced by cheerful grins as Owen paraded Samuel around the ballroom to meet his friends. Samuel allowed himself to be dragged along with a fond smile. Well, obviously you've already met Adrian. Sorry again for ditching you at my house yesterday, by the way. Owen scratched his head sheepishly. All his flirty bravado transformed into shy bashfulness when Samuel was by his side. Ha! I got a free dinner, so it all worked out in the end. See? I told you Samuel would treat you well. Owen slung a friendly arm around his shoulders with a laugh. Adrian's a good friend and bodyguard to me. Bodyguard? Samuel raised an eyebrow suspiciously. Don't get me wrong, he's a good kid and all, but he definitely doesn't look like the bodyguarding type. Hey, I still make a pretty good bodyguard. Plus, I can guard his body in other ways. I grinned and elbowed Owen teasingly. To my surprise, Owen flushed pink and laughed shyly. I can guard his body in a sexual variety. I mean, we're not official or anything, but... Oh, so it's like that. Samuel chuckles good-naturedly. I see all the stories I've heard about your, exploits are true. Well, I hope Owen's taking good care of you, Adrian. If he ever gives you any trouble, let me know and I'll set my boy straight. Oh, I prefer him to be anything but straight. Ha! I ought to be young again. Dude, don't embarrass me in front of my butler like this. Man, where did all your swagger go? Are you suddenly shy now that good old Samuel's back? Anyway, why don't we go and mingle with folks around the ballroom? Should probably introduce Samuel to all of the people in my life now. That's a good idea. I'm looking forward to catching up. Where should we go? Where in the ballroom should we go? Teacher's table. Mrs. Corliss was in the middle of chatting with several other teachers when she caught sight of us approaching. She immediately snapped up like a hawk spotting prey. In a lightning flash, the small old woman vaulted over a table and tackled Samuel in a bone-crushing hug. Oh, if it isn't Samuel Clark! I'm so glad to see you out and about in Gerania again. It's been far too long. Huh! Oh, God! Miss Corliss, please! We talked earlier this morning. I need to breathe. Mrs. Corliss dropped Samuel and he crumpled onto the dance floor like a rag doll. Whoa, Samuel, I didn't know you were familiar with Miss Corliss, too. Samuel twitched on the floor like a squashed cockroach. Yeah, I attended Gerania back in the day with your mom and Graham. Uncle Graham? Oh, you should have seen young Mr. Clark back in his time. I've never had to deal with such a chaotic troublemaker. Seeing you grow up to be a gentlemanly butler gives me a bit of whiplash, if I'm perfectly honest. Mrs. Corliss laughed and gave Samuel a friendly smack on the back. Oh, God! Her smack sent Samuel straight onto the floor. Jesus, you're strong for an old woman. And hey, I was a fairly decent kid. Mrs. Corliss laughed, her eyes twinkling fondly. You had a good heart, Samuel. Still a massive troublemaker, however. Although Graham did a good job keeping you in line. You, Graham, and Heather were an inseparable trio back in your old school days. The three of you got into so much trouble, but always bettered people's lives in the end. Honestly, Graham was the brains behind the group. I was just the brawn that got the job done. Samuel let out a nostalgic laugh before his smile faltered slightly. It's the first time I've heard of any of this. How come you ever mentioned it before? Well, before we managed to graduate, I guess we got a little too chummy with your mom. It pissed off her dad something fierce. It's never the good idea to piss off the head of a mob family. Graham and I had to run away before things got too, heated. It's all good, though. We ended up reuniting with your mom years later after she had you. I never knew you guys had so much history together. Hey, tell you what. Once this dance is over, why don't you come home with me for a little while? I can tell all the stories you want over dinner. Really? I did promise to stop keeping secrets after all, and I miss having you around, kiddo. The house is too quiet on my own. Of course I'll come home with you. That warms my heart more than words can describe. It's good to have you back, kiddo. Where in the ballroom should we go? Punch bowl. Once Owen grabbed Samuel by the wrist and excitedly dragged him to the punch bowl table where all his friends were mingling. You remember Ginny and Sissel, right? We hung out together when we were just kids. They're the friends that stuck by my side after my little, running away incident. Owen laughed awkwardly and scratched his head. As good-natured as always, Samuel smiled to the group and bowed like a true butler. I suppose I have you two to thank for keeping Owen company in my absence. You have my gratitude. Sissel stared at Samuel in amazement. Whoa, are you seriously a real-life butler? I thought you guys only, existed on TV shows. Such a gentleman, too. Owen, are you sure you were raised by this guy? How come you ended up so... not this? Excuse me, I'm a perfectly good gentleman. It's rude to lie, bro. I am. When have I ever been ungentlemanly ever? Well, you were crying your eyes out while stuffing your face full of omelets this morning. You kind of ditched me at your butler's house last night. You set off the fire alarms last week when you burnt that mac and cheese. Owen's face was slightly flushed as he tried to shove Samuel back onto the dance floor. Wow, I'm learning a lot about you today, Owen. You know what? Samuel, I actually don't have any friends. No friends at all. You're the only one I can count on from now on. So long, you assholes. Samuel tried to hide his laughter behind a cup of fruit punch. He wasn't very successful. Huh. Where should we go? Where in the ballroom should we go? The ballroom entrance. That's the only place left. It looked like Owen and Samuel were busy chatting and catching up with each other. I took this chance to wander out the hallway to take a breather. Big crowds felt pretty suffocating after a while. Yeah, I know he's probably another thing I know who he's gonna run into. Adrian, there you are! Look, I finally found Phillip! Welcome to the party, man! You look so good in a suit. Oh, he does! Philip's ears twitched with a hint of embarrassment. Well, it's good to see you two having fun while I work my ass off again. Aw, don't be like that. Look, I saved you a bunch of snacks for the dance. Sugar is bad for you. Bitch, eat the damn candy! Being a stiff killjoy's bad for you, too. Live a little, will ya? We've got more important things to worry about. Anyway, I kinda fucked up and lost track of Oleander Lorelei amongst the crowd of parents. What? How did that happen? Philip fiddled with his jacket sheepishly. Well, I guess I kinda left my guard down. I did my best to keep him occupied, though, honestly. He spent about an hour crying and freaking out in the nurse's office, stressing about meeting Owen. So I bought him a yogurt to comfort him. Oh, that was nice of you. He's violently lactose intolerant. That's another hour spent sitting on the toilet. Well, that's just cruel. I'm just doing what must be done. I think I dozed off after a while. The next thing I knew, Oleander was nowhere to be found. He's probably heading to the ballroom to meet up with Owen. You guys should keep an eye out. Call Morse if you run into him. What does this Oleander dude even look like? He looks like a middle-aged Owen with a beard, long hair and a ponytail, and extremely gassy. Gassy? Lactose intolerance is no joke. He was tooting up a storm the last I saw him. That's a little... Is this guy seriously the head of a mafia family? He's starting to sound not the way I imagined. Philip shrugged. He definitely looks like a Lorelei. Maybe this is all just a facade he wears to hide a devious schemer within. Jenny, this isn't a TV show. Sometimes people are just people. And speaking of people, Philip glanced around the hallways, his voice lowering. I noticed there's an awful lot of adults here for Visitors' Day compared to the number of students. Some of them are probably the Lorelei's family's lackeys trying to blend in. I'm not sure what's going to happen tonight, but you guys best keep an eye out. Philip gave us both a meaningful nod before making his way into the ballroom. Where in the ballroom should we go? Looks like Philip's finally joined us in the Visitors' Day dance. Philip, who's poking around the snack table in disgust. Oh, hey, Philip's finally here. Samuel, come meet my good friend and roommate. He's been a real pal to me. A former roommate, actually. Adrian and I talked about swapping rooms earlier this afternoon. Oh. Nice to meet you, Philip. I hope my boy's been treating you well. Samuel smiled and gave a gentlemanly bow fit for a butler. Mr. Corliss told me about the Owen's groping fiasco last week and the argument that followed. On behalf of Owen, I apologize for any trouble he may have caused. Owen's cheeks flushed as he winced shamefully. Yeah, sorry about that. Philip waved a dismissive hand. It's all in the past. If I got $1 for every time Owen apologized since that incident, I'd be richer than the Lorelei's by now. Philip casually took a sip of the fruit punch. He immediately winced and spat it back into his cup. Anyway, are you the butler that Owen's been freaking out about all day? Alright, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon or YouTube memberships if you can. It always helps. Anyway, I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!